This is EA Sports PGA Tour coverage coming up next. Hello again and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobilo here in the state of Washington, getting ready for a wonderful day of golf. Chambers Bay, the site of the action. And Frank, what can you tell us about this course?
Well, if you're not looking at the golf course today, you can certainly look at the scenery, which is fantastic today. The water is just glistening. Those Olympic mountains are just standing out there in the background. But once your mind drifts back to the golf course, you're going to have your game today. Firm and fast, going to play like a true links.
Is the wind a factor?
It is. You get some of those cross breeze holes, then all of a sudden you really better know exactly how you're striking the ball.
Down to the first tee now to get the round going, and a stout par 4, Frank.
Yeah, straight out of the gates. The wind obviously very important here. If you were to play it into a head breeze, this would be just a mammoth hole, just under 500 yards. Fortunately, with a little prevailing breeze, though, it'll shorten up considerably, but we'll bring that bunker on the right in play. Oh, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. All right, Frank, how would you break down this approach shot here at the first at Chambers Bay?
Well, Rich, it's partially blind, so you've really got to fixate on the exact point that you want to aim at. That's one of the beauties of this golf course. So maybe even just have a little look and make sure you know that line, because once that ball hits the ground, the natural contours are going to take it in a certain direction. So really fixate on that line.
Looking to splash this softly onto the green. So, Frank, out of the bunker and back into play.
Yeah, the late Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's always the next one. Well, by getting the ball back in play, he just made that a little easier.
This will be the fourth shot for Patrick Rodgers. And he's made it onto the green now. Locked in on the read and the speed. Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just a good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
So, 2 over early. Now at the second and a medium-length par 4, Frank.
Yeah, a slight dogleg to the left, rather long, skinny green here, well bunkered all the way down the left side. Really anything down the right, and the natural contours of the land should kick that ball a little to the left.
Getting some sand in the shoes now. We're a second straight hole. He's in the bunker. Frank, just a slight miss off the tee. He's in the fairway bunker.
Yeah, just really got to pick the right club once again. Sometimes you take a little bit more club out of the fairway bunker, choke down.
His second shot. Good, clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. This is one of the game's most talented young players, Patrick Rodgers, now for birdie.
Yeah, that was just begging there for a good putt.
Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Needs birdies at some point, but will take the par to stay at 2 over. At the third tee now, Frank, and what are we staring at here?
This green is anything other than symmetrical, so be very, very cautious on where the flag is. Anything in the middle of the green you can putt to the corners. Well, if you can call them corners, more like ragtails, but beautiful par 3.
Pure strike, good result.
And that is close.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. He'll take par and move on. Frank, here on the 4th tee, you get a good look, don't you, at what Chambers Bay really is all about.
It's framed beautifully, Rich, by the bunkers there, left, short, off the tee, plus the ones down the right side. You can see everything in front of you, but the hole does bend to the right. This is another one where you've got a generous fairway, but don't be fooled by that. It's fairway first.
Tough par 4 measuring 495 yards. And yet again, he has hit it off the tee and into the bunker. Digs in, ready for the bunker shot.
Yeah, second shot here. Just try and aim a little bit behind that ball, an inch or two.
Good swing, good shot yet again. On the green, and a chance for birdie. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Might be. Could be. What a beautiful roll right there. Dead center. Frank, it's kind of fun to swing away on an elevated tee like this, the 5th here at Chambers Bay.
It looks straight away. It certainly does. And under 500 yards, so it gives you a chance, plus that elevation. You should be able to knock one down there. The whole pinches in, though, with those bunkers left and right, and there's just one bunker in the front of this green. And that, as you can guess, should be avoided.
Be careful. They call this hole free fall. What a drive. Just tattooed that. Second shot now for Patrick Rodgers. Has to be pleased with that. An approach shot within 12 feet. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Wow, that hurt.
It did. Shot gone forever.
Just a couple of feet. One over for the day. Frank, now at the 6th, this appears to be a testing par 4 long one.
It is, but once again, a generous fairway. Just use those mounds down the left as an indicator on your line. Hole bends a little bit to the right. Good tee shot, though, and everything is in front of you.
Long drive, but a bad lie.
Wicked.
Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
Well, we've seen this before today in the bunker.
And an awkward little bunker shot. Just splash it out, let the ball run towards the flag.
A beautiful, soft touch out of the bunker. That's Mickelson-esque. Rodgers trying to play mistake-free golf. Needs this for his par. They'll take it. That's a par. On the 7th tee now, it is over 500 yards from the back tee.
Yeah, this is called humpback, and you can see why. There's all those mounds and undulations between you and the hole, plus all that amazing bunkering down the right side. All to be avoided, really. If you can do that, then you get a decent look at this green. But yeah, you've mentioned it, 500 plus yards. It's going to play longer than that uphill.
officials calling that one around 310 yards. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Certainly had enough power, just didn't have any touch. One of the game's talented young players, Patrick Rodgers, ready for his approach. Either misjudged the win or simply just pulled the wrong club, Frank.
Going to take some skill now.
Fourth shot, wants to get this close. Well, this is how you build a good round, Frank. You just keep hitting greens. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. This one has a chance, and he has it. Beautiful putt. Now to the eighth and a long par 5, Frank.
Fortunately, there's no bunkers, just the dunes either side. The hole looks a little narrow off the tee, but get down there, you're going to realise that's a fairly generous fairway. There's a little bit of mounding in this green, too, that actually slopes it back towards the player. So use that to your advantage.
That was just a beautiful drive and hit it solid and right in the middle.
Second shot.
Patrick Rodgers' third shot.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. This is a long putt. Really, the key is the speed. If it drops, that's a bonus. Well, that's not the way you wanted to start out the backside here.
Yeah, you can't afford from inside 10 feet. You feel like you have to make those, and I mean, they really sting when they miss.
Clean this up with a tap. Did the job right there. Frank, the ninth hole is called Olympus. Feels as though Russell Crowe should be standing on the tee, starring in some sort of a movie about the Greek gods.
I knew you'd go like Titans in that down there. But this golf course is for the mere mortals, Rich. This isn't for the Greek gods and the Titans of the world. They might think they are, but this is for you and me. This is for everybody. 36 handicappers. We can all play here.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. And getting ready for the putt. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
That's another bogey now at 3 over for the day. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo playing Chambers Bay out in the state of Washington in the great northwest of the United States. Frank, let's take a closer look now at the 10th hole.
Well, you can see where you've got to go by virtue of the dunes left and right. This is one of the few greens that is well bunkered around. So you can see it short, short right, short left, and there's another little bunker just on the left side. So it's a tricky little second shot coming in here.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Frank, it appears as though this approach shot here at the 10th is fairly straightforward.
It is. You've got a flat green, so you're not really worrying about mounds or bounces here. And really, this is, with a short iron in hand, this is one of those ones you just green light, you go straight at the flag here.
That will be a great look at birdie. Talk to any of the experts. They will tell you this is a guy to keep an eye on. Patrick Rodgers has this now for birdie. So with that putt, 2 over par now. Now on to the 11th, and Frank, we are looking at a long par 4 in front of us.
We are indeed, and it's called shadows, but there is love in the shadows here. Hit it over that dune down there in the middle of the fairway. If you can get it there around the 300-plus yard mark, then the hole obviously starts to get a little easier. That second shot, you'd like to hit a little bit of a cut in here, but there's 2 levels to this green, so make sure you're on the right level where that flag is.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. The 11th hole, Frank, what's the right way to get at it?
Just got to be cognizant of that ridge that cuts through the middle of this green that sort of turns this green into one simple green and all these little complex sort of sections. That's the biggest thing, but that's also, you realize very, very quickly, you're playing links golf today.
And he's made the green. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt.
Well, good roll, good putt.
Measuring 311 yards, the 12th, Frank, seems to offer an opportunity for a player to do something pretty dramatic here.
Yeah, it's called the Narrows. Really, it should be called the Temptation, because what player stands on a tee knowing he can reach and doesn't take up the gauntlet? That's an absolute beauty.
Well, Frank, the player had to go at this, didn't quite knock it on, so what's left?
Well, you can see why it's a drivable par 4, because all the problems really are around the green, all these slopes and mounds and undulations. So you've got to choose the shot that you want to play, and obviously the shot that you're going to chip with. Everybody normally just grabs a lob wedge. There's a lot of different ways to play these shots around the greens.
Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. For par. That's a par. Stays at +2. 13th hole now. It's a dogleg right, par 4. Frank?
But at 534 yards, you need an eagle eye, which is the name of the hole, to find exactly where you want to hit this. Doglegs to the right. There is a fairway that's plenty wide to accept a good tee shot. And then from there on in, it's actually a relatively straightforward second shot, providing you can miss that bunker that's just short in the middle of the green.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, good chance to attack the flag. Now playing the second here at the par 4. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
This is a cross-country special. Pretty good stroke right there, just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
This one just requires a little bit of focus. Two over for the day. Frank, this is the 5th par 4 in a row, and they're not easy. This one here at 14, really a daunting tee shot.
It is. That's why it's called Cape Fair. A true Cape hole in golf, Rich, is when you've got to decide how much you want to bite off when you hit across a slight dogleg. And this one, really, you're going to be rewarded the further left you can go. There is one little bunker in the middle of the fairway that you have to avoid. That's going to be 320 or so yards off the tee. This hole, 546 yards, you're going to see a variety of second shots, or the length of second shots here, determined purely by the bravery of the tee shot.
Second from an excellent lie. Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
On the green, Frank, but might need a pair of binoculars to see the hole.
Yeah, a long way from the band. You can barely hear the music from that far away.
This is a par putt for Patrick Rodgers. This one has a good line. And he has it, Frank.
I don't believe it.
At last, Frank, a break from those long par 4s. We just played 5 par 4s in a row. Now the par 3 15th.
And also, as you can see in the distance, you can actually see a tree, one of the few that are on the golf course. Hence the name of 15, it's called Lone Fir. Not overly long, just a little short hole. But in the US Open, obviously they can play it at around 250 yards. It's just a fun par 3. But check where that flag is, because sometimes 3 is a good score here. But an easy flag position, and then go straight at it.
Second shot now for Patrick Rodgers. Well, this is how you build a good round, Frank. You just keep hitting greens. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Rolls in the par putt, stays at +2. Getting set to take on the finishing holes here at Chambers Bay. How do you do it in the right way, Frank?
Well, when you look down this fairway, obviously everything slopes left to right. That makes this hole actually play a little bit more of a dogleg to the right, even though it doesn't look it. And then, of course, that green up ahead, it's like a tabletop. So precision here is absolutely paramount.
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. Frank, now a pretty short shot here into the 16th.
Yeah, green, anything other than flat, very narrow, skinny green, but also slopes left to right. You can use that to your advantage.
I mean, really on top of his game right now. That was a splendid approach shot. These putts keep the round together. Makes it and moves to 1 over. Frank, you don't need just a caddy out here at Chambers Bay. Seems like you need a sports psychologist. You start thinking about the names of these holes. Beached at 16, and what's 17 called?
Derailed, and you can see why too. That green's perched up there. If you've got the round going in the wrong direction, this is not a hole to start on. So if you've got a run going, it's just a good tee shot that lands around the front there, and you just take a 3 here. This is not a time to be a hero.
Frank going for 2 in a row now. Nicely holed, 4th birdie of the day. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walk-in golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department in your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course. Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards. Second shot.
Patrick Rodgers, 3rd shot. It should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Let's see if he can make it 3 in a row.
He can't be that good.
Finished with a final score of 69. Frank, this was our first trip to Chambers Bay here in the state of Washington, and it provided a stunning and dramatic backdrop for the national championship for the U.S. Open.
It's been a fun time in the U.S. Open history. We had Pinehurst in 2014 and go to a true links course in Chambers Bay.